And listen, if you didn't come into this year realizing that you're going to have greater skill sets, that you're going to have greater consistency, then you're probably behind the ball. And those are realities we have to face right now, not 6 months down the road or 12 months like everybody else does. We have to realize our actions right now. Welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Araujo, and I'm happy, elated, excited to be here. I was out on a trip to Salt Lake City, landed yesterday, Tuesday, but I didn't want to go a week. I haven't missed a week of Mindset Mastery in 4 years. It wasn't going to happen this week, right? So all I had to do was change a few things and get my mind right of what I wanted to deliver today. And, today I just got really fired up about a few things. One is the workout, a few conversations this morning. And then, something that came up on my feed about, Birdman. And if some of you know who Birdman is, he's like this producer, right? He's this owner of this record company, hip hop record company, Cash Money Records. And he's been around forever, like ever since I was a teenager. This dude has been around. And, he's got his fair share of people coming at him, right? A lot of haters, a lot of people talking stuff about how he runs his business, about what he does. And he's got some of the biggest artists in the hip hop history, right? He was some of the biggest artists signed to his label. We're talking about like Drake, Nicki Minaj. We got Lil Wayne from back in the 90s. And he's just continued to grow and discover talent and just become this mogul, right? This hip hop mogul. And, one of the things is he got tired of people talking stuff about him, right? He's shown he can deliver. Like, this guy is no small fish. He's a whale in the game. And he got tired. He got tired of hearing this one particular morning show, one of the biggest morning shows out there. And he was just tired of it. So he ends up going into into the studio unannounced, and he confronted them. Like, he was tired of it. He wasn't going to go back and forth, hearsay and maybe become a keyboard warrior where he's talking stuff through Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. No, he went up to him, to the DJs, and he said, hey, listen, put some respect on my name. And that was just a warning to it. Now it's become this big meme about, people understanding that there's keyboard warriors and there's people talking stuff, and then there's real players. And oftentimes as small business owners, we listen too much to all the chirps, right? And the way you can shut them up is to understand that there's some respect there by your results. Your results will always speak louder than words. Now, did he have to go that route? No, but he was just tired of it. Did he have to prove anything else? No. But he wanted to let them know, hey, listen, when you're in my vicinity, put some respect on my name. And the reality is that I think that's what we all achieve, right? We want everybody to know what we've been through as small business owners. The struggles, the suffering, the stress, the sleepless nights. We expect people to give us that respect. As a matter of fact, like I did, and many of you are doing right now, and I need you to check yourself here, okay? Some of you are creating this uncertainty within your household because you expect this respect. You expect respect when there's no results to be provided. You expect respect when there's no results. You expect your kids to run up to you and hug you and say, hey, Dad, you're home, when there's no results on your end by delivering at the level you should be. You expect not to have a hostile environment at home when there is no money coming into your bank accounts. All you do is complain and feel defeated because this deal might fall through. The way you respect your name is you got to bring respect to yourself. And the only way to do that is through consistency. By getting up every morning and going to hunt the buffalo. By doing what's required as a business owner. You got to market. You got to prospect. And if you're in real estate, you have to buy, you have to have people buy, you have to help people sell. So if you're not helping them buy or sell, then what are you doing? And that's how we have to really put ourselves and put our feet to the fire of realizing that that is the number one responsibility. But it starts with gaining that respect within yourself first and foremost. And you can't do it without consistency. You can't do it without pushing the envelope on your skill sets, without getting out of your comfort zone. You see, 3 months ago, we had our business planning meeting. And every one of you detailed exactly what you were going to do during these 3 months. And 3 months have gone by pretty quickly, right? We're already midway through March. It's flying by. Before you know it, we'll be done with the first quarter. Before you know it, you're going to have to look at what you said you were going to do and compare it to what you actually got. And listen, if you didn't come into this year realizing that you're going to have greater skill sets, that you're going to have greater consistency, then you're probably behind the ball. And those are realities we have to face right now, not 6 months down the road or 12 months like everybody else does. We have to realize our actions right now so we can expect that respect. But we can't force that upon others if there's nothing to be shown for it. I was having this conversation this morning with one of our agents, and he's going to have the greatest quarter of his career. The greatest quarter of his career, top 1% status. But guess what? It didn't necessarily happen in January. Some results started appearing in February. And before you know it, it's like it explodes with the results in March. Because he understands the game. That what you start today probably won't show its results until 90 days later after consistent work. Now, if you show up one day, market one day, and you skip the next 2 days, and then market again for 3 days in a row, and then you had a weekend off, you may give yourself credit for working the entire 90 days when you actually only worked like 45. But yet you're wanting the results of what you wrote down, back in December. It's never going to happen. It doesn't align that way. And understand after you have the vision, okay? We all have that great vision. We have to follow that up with consistency through your actions, right? But there's another layer to that. Having the faith that this is all going to work out. Having the faith that this is all going to work out. And we all know what the definition of faith is, right? We've talked about this in the past. Right? A deep-rooted and unshakable expectation that good things are yet to come. Like deep-rooted, unshakable. You're working, no results. You put more out there, more consistent, no results. Day in and day out, doubt starts seeping in, no results. What do? You keep going. And this is exactly what this gentleman did. He improved his skill sets. And when you improve your skill sets, your mindset goes right along with it, and vice versa. You become better. Your capacity is greater. And then there's this knowing that it was always supposed to be this way. And that's the beautiful thing. But you got to understand, we've all asked for this. Your job is to keep your end of the bargain. The challenge, it's not supposed to stop you. You're supposed to keep your end of the bargain. Provide a solution. Overcome it. Have this deep-rooted, unshakable faith that good things will happen. I wrote this email out to a broker network that I belong to, brokerage owner network. And I'm going to go ahead and read it because this took me back down memory lane. And there was many times during the growth of AZ & Associates where I yearned, where I thought I could never reach the 75 agent mark, the 100, the pinnacle, the 100 agent mark. Having over $500 million in sales, like I thought that was never going to be possible, especially when I would move, it appeared like I would move 4 steps forward and then like 6 back. Like they say, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? Or 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's what it felt like for many years. And it's when we take 2 steps back that we think it's against us when it's not. There's just some lessons that we didn't learn on our way to our growth. We got to learn that in order to be over here. It doesn't mean we're digressing. It means we might have skipped a few steps, but now we have to learn those lessons that we skipped. You can't go through growth by skipping steps. It's impossible. There's lessons you have to learn. There's skills you have to build. There's a mindset you have to reinforce. So going back a couple steps does not mean that you're not growing. There's lessons there. But I'm going to read this to you. So pay attention, please, and see where this fits in your own life, in your own trajectory of building your business. The pressures of running an independent brokerage are real. We are getting attacked on all fronts, from franchises and mega teams to ultra-low fee brokerages and national recruiting companies. They are all vying for our agents. I officially opened my brokerage in 2014 and not knowing what to charge or what to offer. I remember thinking that I couldn't possibly compete with the national franchises, so I can't charge 20 or 30%. I'm also relatively unknown, so my only choice, or so I thought, was to race to the bottom. I'll offer more for less, I remember thinking. Sure enough, I recruited 10 agents, then 15, 20. Then we were almost up to 40 agents. The agent count was growing nicely, but one problem remained. I wasn't making any money. In fact, all I really did was increase my costs and cut my revenues. The brokerage required so much of my time that I couldn't focus on my real estate business, so that began to suffer. I was bending over backwards for everyone, answering calls all hours of the day and night, spending countless hours either talking them off the ledge or doing what I could to motivate them to keep going after a disappointment. Their businesses flourished, and I was left to struggle. Racing to the bottom wasn't a win-win proposition. At least for me, it wasn't. I was playing the role of a savior and a friend, and not what I should have done from the very beginning, and that was to be a leader. I had a choice: continue to spin my wheels with a low-fee model and eventually shut down the brokerage, or two, change my commission structure. I chose the latter and switched to a more traditional model. Well, with that decision, I involuntarily chose option one. When I changed my commission structure, a mass exodus ensued. I went from 40 agents to 11 within a week. It was devastating. Other brokerages smelled blood in the water and they attacked. They were blowing up my agents' phones and inundating their emails in the attempts to recruit them. I get it. It's all a game. It's a dog-eat-dog world. But what I can't stand are those that play it with malintent, spreading rumors that we were going under and I would keep all their commissions. It worked for them on the short term. They gained and I lost, or so they thought. Both the Remax office and the Keller Williams office franchise owners called me on my personal phone. There was a certain smugness to their tone. As a matter of fact, they completely disregarded and disrespected what I was trying to build. The conversation went something like this: join us and bring your agents with you, or we'll recruit them one by one. It's your choice. I felt defeated, ashamed, and embarrassed. It felt like the whole industry was focused on me. The following days at the office were rough, but I soon realized something. The agents that stayed were the very ones that valued me the most. They appreciated what I did for them and their businesses. They valued my knowledge, wisdom, and experience. So I poured into them. I mentored and coached them. They all became top producers, and many are top 1% in the state today. I decided that moving forward, I will never focus on the agent count again. I will never devalue my knowledge, experience, and wisdom as a means to recruit more agents. Today, we have 200 plus agents with over 800 million sold in 2021, and we are on track to close 1 billion in 2022. We opened the doors to our new HQ, a 10,000 square foot building, in 2021. This month marks our 1-year anniversary, complete with training facility and studio. Here's the best part: I profited in ways I never imagined, all without having to sell any personal real estate. Now, here are some key points to what I learned. And this, I think, applies to everyone here. Don't undervalue who you are as a leader. Most won't ever dare to do what you do. So do it loudly and do it proudly. Focus your efforts on the growth of your agents' numbers within your brokerage, not just on the growth of the number of agents at your brokerage. Like Zig Ziglar famously wrote, if you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want. Train from what made you successful. Your experience is worth its weight in gold, but no one will ever see it if you underprice your worth. You'll get exactly what you ask for. There are many valuable lessons after every defeat. Find out what they are and make your moves. Don't just sit in regret. Remember your competition is on the prowl. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. We sell 2 times more than the local Keller Williams office and 3 times as much as the Remax office. I truly appreciate the fire they lit within me. Keep up the good fight. You have a leadership void to fill in this industry. Rise up. So we have to think about the journey and what it's going to take for you to get those numbers, the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. And then beyond that, like what's on the other side of the good life? What's on the other side of you hitting your goals and you becoming that top producer? Oftentimes we don't think about that. But listen, I couldn't be mad at the franchises that called me directly on my phone. I couldn't. As a matter of fact, now I thank them because they lit that fire within me. But if I got stuck on what they were telling me of how far I can take it, on what's best for me, then I wouldn't be here today. And that's the approach we have to take onto this, knowing that whatever you envisioned back in December, it is a real possibility, but now it's going to require your consistency. You see, I wasn't good enough to have the 40 agents at that time because I undervalued myself. And many times in the attempts to sign a listing appointment, you guys are racing to the bottom thinking that you have to compete with all these other people when you will guide your clients in a way that no one else can match. And that's the way you have to approach things. If I thought like I was like every other brokerage, there's no way I could be able to create what I have. And listen, what I have is because I helped others create what they want. And that's the way you have to approach with your clientele base. What is it that your buyer truly wants? What is it that your seller truly wants? Deliver on that and you'll get everything that you want. But if it becomes a numbers game, if it becomes this race to the bottom, you will never really flourish as a business owner. You will never see the value. You will never gain the respect for yourself. And you will constantly struggle as you hit wall after wall after wall, not knowing why. Improve your skill sets. Become a better marketer. Learn the systems. Communicate better. Better negotiating skills. Like these are all things that you have to work on. They're not just going to come to you. So you want some respect? You got to build it. You have to build it. They had every right to come and tell me, why don't you just shut down? You want to talk about disrespect? But they weren't. They were doing me a huge favor. And listen, if you're running into issues with closing your transactions and you're losing sleep and you're stressed out and you're yelling at your kids, you're isolating yourself from your family, do you really think you can handle 5 deals like that? If you can't handle that one, do you really think you have what it takes to handle 10 deals like that? So start looking at it from a different perspective. You have what it takes to provide solutions because you've built the reps. You build the consistency. You have this unrelenting faith that good things are going to happen. So handle it. Handle the task at hand. Brought back a lot of memories, right, Carla? 100% on point. Brought back the painful moments and yet the best. Like, I needed all that. I needed to go from 40 agents to 11 because there's some lessons I didn't learn during that time, so I needed to learn them then. Didn't mean for me to shut down, even though I was this close of doing it. I was defeated. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. It felt like everyone knew. No, thank you. Thank you. I needed to learn some lessons. First, I needed to understand that I was more valuable than I thought, than I allowed myself to accept. You guys are more valuable than that. Don't race to the bottom in commissions. Focus on what you can actually get your client. Focus on how you can negotiate through the Binzer. Focus on how you can provide substance and backup for the appraisal. Focus on those things. Not offering a 1.5% commission. You're racing to the bottom. Where's the value? Where's your experience? Like, go for that. Guys, that's all I got. But again, in order to get some respect on your name, you have to show up, okay? You have to see that value within yourself first. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me for this episode of Mindset Mastery. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Badass Agents Podcast, brought to you by AZ & Associates and Do the Work Coaching and Consulting. You can watch this and other episodes by subscribing to our channel on YouTube or by visiting us directly at badassagents.com. And of course, you can listen to this episode and many others on your preferred podcast provider.